Welcome back everybody, Matt here. And when I'm posting this video, it will be officially the 10-year anniversary of The Dark Knight Rises. The third Batman film in the Christopher Nolan trilogy. Christian Bale returns, Michael Caine, Gary Oldman, Morgan Freeman, along with some new cast members, Tom Hardy, Anne Hathaway, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And I have to admit, I am a little shocked that it's the 10-year anniversary. The funny part is 2 days ago, on Monday, was the 14th anniversary of The Dark Knight. But still, I guess, to me, to wrap my head around the fact that we felt like 4 years was so long to wait between The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises. The whole Heath Ledger passing. They originally were going to have the Joker in the third Batman film. But then plans changed. Nolan went on to do Inception. And then came and did The Dark Knight Rises. And, yeah. I am shocked that we are 10 years since this movie came out. It is a little shocking. I was in college. I was in my final quarter at SCAD, summer quarter. I went down there. I either had the option to wait till the fall to finish my last quarter of college, or I really didn't have an option to come in the summer, but certain things transpired. Number one, my editor was only going to be there in the summer and not the fall. So right now, I'm not going to go find another editor come the fall to edit my film, my senior film. My editor is going to be there this summer. My sound person, post-sound person, is going to be down there this summer in Savannah. I should go and finish my quarter now. Why wait? Why wait till the fall? Just do it 10 weeks, get it done, be done, and by the end of the summer you're done with college, you're graduated, done with Savannah College of Art and Design. And yeah, what a crazy roller coaster college was. I think I might have had the most unique experience of college than most people. Who knew? But also, during my spring quarter, I was taking a film class. It was actually from page to screen, or from page to script. It was adapting books into screenplays, and it was an interesting class. We actually had a whole quarter talking about the Batman, The Dark Knight Returns graphic novel. We had a whole quarter, a whole 2 or 3 weeks talking about Batman in college. I still remember that opening first class, and my professor gave us a syllabus, and I said, there's a Batman on this syllabus. She goes, oh yeah, we're going to be talking about the Batman for 2 weeks. I go, what class am I in? Is this college? We're talking about Batman in college? Okay. Okay. That's why certain things about college to me just go, was I dreaming? Because college really wasn't hard at all. We're literally talking about Batman for 2 weeks. Somebody help me out here. Anyway, not only that, but somebody in the class, I guess apparently right getting to know me, even though for some reason the first 4 weeks I didn't talk to anybody. I was so focused on my senior film that I was like, I don't have time. Don't have time for you. Don't have time for anybody. I'm making a film here. We're filming. I'm going to be directing. We're filming it in April. I don't got time for you. no drama. But for some reason, after I finally got, I've told the story, after I got done filming, I was like, okay, now I can sit and chill. Finally, the girl in my class, I finally said hi, and for some reason, a couple of weeks later, she asked me to live in the apartment they had in the summer. Because the person they had got an internship, so he wasn't going to be there. So they're like, oh, we need to find another person. And the one roommate picked one of her friends, and the girl I knew in the class, like I said, for some reason, I was like, hey Matt, you want to be my roommate this summer? Let me tell you, that conversation to my mother was very, very interesting. You're going to be living in an apartment this summer? Yeah. With a girl? Yeah. You and her? No. 2 more girls. So, you and 2 girls. No. Let me do the math. 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 3 girls, 1 guy. All summer. In an apartment. Yeah, explain that to your mother. I did. And somehow, I went back to Savannah in June and started my last quarter of college. Lived in an apartment with 3 girls all summer. Fun times. Anyway, and of course they knew I was a Batman fan. Because like I said, the girl in my class knew I was a Batman fan because we studied Batman in the class. So that was pretty much a no-brainer there. So, of course, when the movie came out that Friday, July 20th, we already had tickets. Me and 3 girls went and saw The Dark Knight Rises. Man, did I feel like Bruce Wayne. So anyway, getting into so to realize, oh my god, that was 10 years ago. Or as my mother would say, you graduated college 10 years ago. What have you done with film? Thank you. Doing podcasts now. You didn't need to go to college for that. You don't really need to go to college for much in film, but that's a whole other story. I was doing film back in middle school. Anyway, so yeah. So realizing that, oh my god, we're at the 10-year anniversary of The Dark Knight Rises. And really this year, and honestly this year, was the first solo Batman film with Robert Pattinson's the Batman in 10 years. I mean, so even that's like a little bit of a, whoa, man, time has flown by. Even though I still look like I'm in my 20s. I literally had someone last week say to me, you're going to be 33? I thought you were like in your early 20s. I go, thank you, but no. I appreciate it. But anyway, so The Dark Knight Rises. Is this the best Batman movie in the Nolan trilogy? No. But I would argue with anybody that it might not be the best Batman film in the Nolan trilogy, but in terms of third movies in a trilogy, it's pretty up there. I mean, I think even on Rotten Tomatoes, it's like 86, 87%. Once again, I think the cast in this movie is great. Most of them. Christian Bale, to me, gives one of his best performances, probably since Batman Begins. Michael Caine has some of the best moments in the movie, especially that one scene with him and Bruce Wayne near the talking in the hallway by the stairwell. You know, Alfred's like, I don't want you to be Batman anymore. I never wanted you to be Batman. You know, I thought, you know, what happened 8 years ago, you hung up your cape, your cowl, you're done. I never wanted any of this for you. You know, you were gone 7 years. 7 years. And, you know, that whole moment is so great and powerful. And that is a moment you don't normally get in big-budget films. So to have that really heart-to-heart, quiet moment between Alfred and Bruce was really one of the best scenes in the movie. Then you add your new characters and actors, Tom Hardy. People, I will die and still say on the left when I die, Tom Hardy was great as Bane. I don't care what you think. I don't care. You can complain about the voice all you want, just like people do about Christian Bale's Batman voice. All you want. Tom Hardy was awesome as Bane. He was menacing. He was scary at times. He showed authority, leadership, smart, all the things that Bane is in the comics. I mean, I still love that one scene where he gives that long monologue in front of the Blackgate prison, and you just see it just through the eyes. He's acting, so, like, telling you everything just through the eyes. And I thought that was great. And like I said, everyone, before this movie came out, everyone was all on the Tom Hardy train because of Inception and Warrior. It was like, that guy's playing Bane? Thank you. I want to see that movie right now. And guess what? To me, he delivered. Now, the ending of them saying, oh, it was Talia al Ghul all along. I don't blame Tom Hardy for that. I blame Nolan for doing that. It's like, you've had this character be this badass villain this whole movie, and in the last 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you decide, oh, it was Talia al Ghul who was behind all this. No, I admit, that was the one part I was like, you just neutered Bane. He was just a lovesick puppy for Talia al Ghul. Really? I didn't like that. That's one thing I will say I did not like about the movie. But then you got Anne Hathaway as Selena Kyle, and I will stand here today, right now, and say to you that in 2011, when they announced that Anne Hathaway was one of the actresses that they were looking at to play Selena Kyle, Catwoman, I said, she's my number one pick. And everyone looked at me again and said, Anne Hathaway? Princess Diaries girl? And I said, yeah, Princess Diaries girl. Because guess what, you dumb morons? Just like Heath Ledger, outside of maybe 10 things I hate about you, he did a lot more dramatic and independent movies that really showed his range as an actor. Or just like Robert Pattinson. Robert Pattinson's going to be Batman? Oh my god, Twilight Boy? Yeah, did you see everything after Twilight that he did? Yeah, not Twilight Boy. Let me tell you. Same thing as Anne Hathaway. When she's doing movies like Havoc, or Brokeback Mountain, or Loving Other Drugs, I don't think you watch those movies and go, Princess Diaries girl. No. You say, very talented, can do a lot of great dramatic work, tall, flexible, Loving Other Drugs will show you that. Flexible. Yeah, she can be Catwoman. And sure enough, she ended up being Catwoman, and in terms of Anne Hathaway's performance, she does an excellent job. Her introduction in the beginning at Wayne Manor was great. That scene in that restaurant at the table with Dagger, or whatever, Dagger's partner, great moment. Her scenes fighting alongside Batman and Bane's underground cave sewer, great. I do feel like the second act kind of pushed her to the side a little bit. I've always said, if you're going to have Bruce Wayne in Bane's prison, then let's go back to Gotham and focus on Anne Hathaway, Selena Kyle, starting to rewrite her, instead of being the bad girl, the cat burglar, let's see her start to change. Her influence, or Bruce Wayne and Batman's influence, is now going to change her. And we're going to see that arc. We did and we didn't, not enough. But I don't blame that on Anne Hathaway, that's on the writing. And then we got, like I said, you got Gary Oldman returning. He did a great job Morgan Freeman did fine. He wasn't in that much in this movie. Joseph Gordon-Levitt was good. I do think the character, even going back and watching it, is a little boring, a little dull, compared to Anne Hathaway and Tom Hardy. But hey. But, I mean, like I said, I think the first act of the movie, which is an hour and 15 minutes, is actually pretty great. Just the whole introducing the new characters, finding out what's going on now in Gotham 8 years later. You have that, it's almost 45 minutes in the movie before we see Batman, and it's a great reintroduction of Batman out on the street, chasing down Bane. Fun fact, real quick, you know that whole stock market scene where Bane goes into the stock market and tries to hack it or whatever? There's an actor in that movie that I had no idea was that actor until now. Glenn Powell, that you would know from Top Gun Maverick, who played Hangman, is in The Dark Knight Rises. That's his first movie. And he's the guy that Bane meets the shit out of at the stock market and throws him up against the desk and throws his head down. I was like, oh my god, that's Glenn Powell. 10 years ago. Wow. Wow, that's amazing to me. But anyway, I think the action is good. Like I said, the first act is an hour and 15 minutes. Pretty long for a first act for a movie, but it's still great. I will say the second act had its moments. Bane in the stadium, great. The tearing down of Gotham City was great. Like I said, the Blackgate monologue by Bane, great. I personally love all the stuff with Bruce Wayne in the prison. I think that is real. I like how Nolan took his time with all that, rather than just rushing it. Oh, he's gonna climb the well once, doesn't get it. Oh, by the second time he will. Okay, he's out of the well. No, they took their time with that, and I thought that was very good. And I also like the meaning of all that. And this is how the whole trilogy comes to a nice conclusion. How it comes full circle. Is at the beginning of Batman Begins, in the opening flashback, Bruce Wayne falls down a well, he's hurt, he can't get out, and who comes and saves him? Daddy. Thomas Wayne comes down, grabs him, brings him up, and we have that great moment. And why do we fall, Master Wayne? So we can learn to pick ourselves back up. So, if Batman Begins was the why do we fall part of that, in The Dark Knight Rises when in Batman Begins, he fell down a well, in a pit. In The Dark Knight Rises, he's in Bane's prison, or otherwise known as a giant well. And guess what Bruce Wayne has to do in this? He does not have his daddy. He does not have his mommy. He does not have Alfred. He does not have Lucius. He does not have Rachel. Bruce Wayne has to climb out of the well by himself. And he does. And I always love that this, moment, a character moment of, you gotta do it by yourself now. There's no one here to help you anymore. You gotta figure it out. Try. And you gotta do it more than once, do it more than once. You gotta do it more than twice, more than twice. So I've always liked that about this movie, that, when people say, the prison stuff, or the well stuff was so long, kind of dragged, actually I say the Gotham stuff dragged the movie down, because outside of what Bane was doing, no one else did anything in that second act, except Bane. Yeah, you saw Joseph Gordon-Levitt help out the police officers, and Hathaway realizing what she did was wrong, which is she should go back. And then we got the flashback with Ra's al Ghul, and the whole history with Bane and Talia al Ghul. Also, another fun fact. Before this movie came out, I knew that Joey King was going to be playing young Talia al Ghul. Why? Because she had the same robes as Ra's al Ghul from Batman Begins. But for some odd reason, when I was watching this movie 10 years ago, I completely forgot that the little child in the prison was a girl. Even the movie had me convinced. Oh yeah, that's little Bane. That's little Bane. Nope. Then I realized, nope, that's not little Bane. That's little Talia al Ghul, Joey King, playing the young Miranda Tate, Marion Cotillard. But anyway, and that's even weird. Little Joey King, now 22 years old or whatever, is going to be in that Bullet Train movie, Brad Pitt. Crazy. But anyway, I love the score in this movie. Hans Zimmer does a great job with Anne Hath. Catwoman score, Bane score, the assault on Blackgate, that, I don't know. Great score. I wish they had a score during the Batman and Bane fight in the sewer. They had no music going on, just sound effects and the punching. When I first saw the movie, I thought, that's very interesting and cool. Very realistic. Because if you were in a fight with somebody, there's not going to be music playing in the background. You're just going to hear punch, boom, boom, groan, ow, ooh, ah. But you're not going to hear any music. But I'm like, but this is a movie. You need a little music in the background to kind of, especially when Bane is beating the shit out of Batman. I want to hear some, pumped up music. Beat his ass. But, anyway, that's one thing they needed music in that scene. Like I said, I don't think the Miranda Tate character worked at all. And I have always said that they should have revealed Miranda Tate as Talia al Ghul, or at least working with Bane way, way earlier in the movie. I always said, as soon as Bruce Wayne got dropped off in that prison, that should have been the moment that Bane goes back to Gotham and he meets with Miranda Tate and says, he's there, he's in prison, we got him. Or something that lets us know, oh. Because that whole scene before Batman goes and fights Bane, he's with Miranda Tate, they're in Wayne Manor, they do a little sexy time, and it's like, that scene might have been really important if after Bruce got dropped off in the prison, that, Bane goes and sees Miranda Tate, they'd be like, this was all set up. That was all a setup. Wow, okay. Now, Bruce Wayne doesn't have to know that right away, but I think I've always said the audience should have known ahead of time, earlier, that Miranda Tate is working with Bane. You don't even have to reveal her real name, which I thought was also a cop-out, because they did that in Batman Begins. Henry Ducard. No, Ra's al Ghul. Yes. Oh. And how do you say your name? Ra's al Ghul? And then Bruce, Ra's al Ghul is dead. I watched him die. And then we have Liam Neeson turn around. What about Ra's the Immortal? Or cheap parlor tricks, Ra's, to hide your true identity. Yes, I do know that movie pretty well. One of my favorite Batman movies. It actually still was my favorite Batman movie. So, there you go. But yeah, I thought Miranda Tate didn't need to be in the movie. We've already seen that trick of, that's not really her name. And B, it's just, we had Bane. Bane is, and that's what I also like about Bane. In Batman Begins, Ra's al Ghul, or Scarecrow, was all about the seer. A little bit of a psychological thing with Bruce Wayne, Batman. With the Joker, it was all playing games, getting inside his head, being 2 or 3 steps ahead of Batman, playing games with Gotham. So it was more brain smart. And in The Dark Knight Rises, we finally got a villain that was smart and physically could beat the shit out of Batman. And that's what I always liked. Because the studio wanted the Riddler for The Dark Knight Rises. And they wanted Leonardo DiCaprio to play the Riddler. And I thought, no, I don't want the Riddler. We just have the Joker. We don't need I want someone physically that can go head to head physically with Batman. And I'm glad they picked Bane. What else? I think this movie had a lot more fan service than any other Batman movie. The breaking of the bat, that was right out of the comic. Giving fans what they want with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. His real name is Robin. I always said, why did you do that? You have come out so many times that we will never have a Robin in our movie. Even Christian Bale said, I will never do a movie with Robin. And then you go and drop the name. Why? And I am also one of those people that did not... I wanted Bruce Wayne or Batman to die at the end. I do think it was a cop-out that, oh, he survived. It was a nuclear atom bomb. Oh, the autopilot was fixed. Really? Nolan, you've been so realistic with your Batman movies. To a degree, of course. With Batman Begins and The Dark Knight. And, once again, this is the end of a trilogy. Why not? And then there's not going to be a sequel. Why not just kill them off? You're setting up the next predecessor with John Blake. As we saw at the very end of the movie, the last shot of the movie, John Blake goes into the Batcave, has a little light that Bruce Wayne had in Batman Begins. Bat starts flying around. He starts walking, gets on this platform. It rises. Oh, and then the title comes up, The Dark Knight Rises. Okay. Why didn't you kill off Bruce Wayne? It would have been so much better. And I think that would have really made the trilogy, in my opinion, almost on par with The Dark Knight to a degree. That no one you had the balls to kill them off. Yeah. But no, we get that whole, that Alfred speech. Every year, I went to Italy, or wherever he went. And I sat down in this little cafe. And I looked over, and there you were. I looked at you, you looked at me. We didn't say anything, but I just knew you were good. You were alright. You were happy. You were gone 7 years. And I thought to myself, and for some reason I knew early in the movie when they brought that up, I'm like, you son of a bitch. I met you at the end of this movie. We're going to see Bruce Wayne in a cafe in Italy. And Alfred's going to be on the other side of the cafe. And sure enough. And there was always that debate, did he really die? Or is Alfred just seeing something that he wants to see? Obviously, he's really alive. But I always thought that was a cop-out. It's like, just kill him off. I mean, to me, it would have been better if Alfred went there and he thought he saw Bruce Wayne, but then, either a cross-dissolve transition, and you just see nobody sitting at the table. And they're like, okay, no, he's dead. Alfred is just imagining it. But no. But, overall, like I said, I enjoy this movie. I think it's the best Batman movie in the Nolan trilogy. No, but there's a lot of great things in it. There's more character moments than even in The Dark Knight. Still focused more on Bruce Wayne than Batman. I think Tom Hardy did great. I think Anne Hathaway did great. For newcomers, I think Miranda Tate wasn't needed. But yeah. Also, that Halloween, I dressed up as Bane for Halloween. I even shaved my head to be exactly like Tom Hardy. People couldn't believe that for Halloween I actually shaved my head. That I remember going, that's not a ball cap? No. I was like, what kind of pussy puts on a ball cap? I'm gonna shave my head. Why not? Oh great, you're German and you look like a skinhead. Way to go. I said, hey, I could have been Bane for Halloween, or I could have been Edward Norton in American History X. I mean, why not? But I went with Bane. But anyway, yeah. So as an overall, if you haven't seen this movie in a while, check it out. It's on HBO Max. It's also on Netflix. That's actually where I was watching it last night, on Netflix. Yeah. This is actually one of the Batman movies I really haven't watched that much. I think truly I can count the amount of times I have watched this movie on one hand. I think it's not my favorite of the Nolan films, but like I said, for the 10-year anniversary, it's a lot better than most third films in a trilogy. That's for sure. Anyway, Matt here. Those are my thoughts on the 10th anniversary of The Dark Knight Rises.